All right, everybody. So, welcome to our very first podcast. I wanted to do these. We always talk about as streamers bringing more content to our names and to our platforms. So, today I wanted to talk about something very important to me. I got involved with the Epilepsy Foundation Stream for Epilepsy team because I had a very good friend, Gamer Babe, who I met, and she told me she was diagnosed with epilepsy. I didn't jump the gun into getting involved. I was there to support. But what finally pushed me to get involved with them was there's a chance that my daughter has epilepsy. They're still going through the procedure of figuring it out. She has seizure-like symptoms, so it's on the table, but they haven't 100% confirmed it yet either. They keep going back and forth. So I thought this would be the great way to start this off. Something that's, it's a good cause, a great community, and it's something that's personal to me. So I was very fortunate that Monique from the Stream for Epilepsy team agreed to sit down with me today. We're going to ask her some questions about epilepsy. We're going to ask her some questions about the Epilepsy Foundation and Stream for Epilepsy. Just get a little bit of understanding, because even to this day, as much as I do research to try to make sure that my streams are informative, I still don't know what I'm talking about half the time, I feel like. So having somebody a little bit more knowledgeable here is going to be great. But also, she's been involved with the Epilepsy Foundation obviously longer than I have, so it'd be good to get somebody who knows a little bit more about that, can provide some, better information, some more direction. If you guys have, whether it's yourself with epilepsy, a family member with epilepsy, or even just a friend, whether it's, first aid training for seizures, how to get involved. Maybe you don't stream, but maybe there are other ways that you might be able to get involved. She might be able to answer some of those questions. And then what Stream for Epilepsy does. And so, welcome, Monique. I appreciate you doing this with me.
Of course. First, I just want to say I'm sorry if it's laggy or my sound is off, my video's off. I don't know if I'm having some internet problems, but Discord can be like that. So
yeah.
I can start with introducing myself.
Yeah, go for it.
Cool. So I am Monique Hughes. I work for the Epilepsy Foundation of America. I manage our fundraising programs, and a part of that is Stream for Epilepsy. So I founded Stream for Epilepsy with our team in August of 2020 in the midst of the pandemic. So we're about celebrating a year now. And so not too long after that, Phoenix Warrior, we actually got on board to be an ambassador. So essentially, with what I do, Stream for Epilepsy makes sense because it's a way to connect with our community, really get to know the people who are affected by epilepsy where they are. And it also allows us to get into a space we've never been before. So we largely are a very small organization, probably 60 or less employees nationwide, and we serve the 3.4 million people with epilepsy in the US, and also help to serve the 65 million in the world that have epilepsy. So we're a small but mighty team, and so it is just me on the Stream for Epilepsy team. And so I help facilitate our platforms, I help coordinate streams, and most importantly, help with charity fundraising. So having those charity streams, which Phoenix Warrior does all the time, which we are so grateful for, and his team that supports the Epilepsy Foundation and what we do to serve our community.
Yeah, and it's been a blast. We got another one coming up this weekend.
Yeah, I need to add it to the schedule.
Yeah, and this one's going to be an interesting endeavor because it's actually a 2-day event. We're going to start basically as soon as I wake up in the morning on Saturday.
Love it.
And
okay.
The goal is the stream's not turning off until Sunday night.
Oh, good luck. I'll have to tune in.
Not going to make it the whole time. I can already say that.
Or something.
Yeah. There's going to be some naps in there, but the cool thing is that Cinderella Warrior and Koi Keeper and the King Rancher, they're all going to be streaming as well. So the idea is that when one of us needs to kind of tap out for a minute, we can raid the other one and kind of keep the train going.
Love that.
So 10 to 1.
What are you guys going to be playing again?
For the most part, it's going to be Sea of Thieves.
Oh, cool.
So
okay.
Sailing around and just goofing off, basically.
Amara on our team, Amara Ravenfire?
Yes.
She does Sea of Thieves often. I enjoy watching people play Sea of Thieves.
it's usually good and relaxing, and then until you get
Yeah.
the one team of people that wants to troll you, and like we had that just this last weekend. Somebody decided they
Oh,
wanted
of
to just keep
course.
tracking us down and killing us without ever giving us a chance to get out of the gates.
That's obnoxious.
Yeah. But the cool thing is we actually got my personal Discord is getting involved. They actually put together an Among Us time period, so we're actually going to be finishing up that stream with Among Us and just having a good time with that.
Oh,
So,
fun.
but
I love a good Among Us. So
yeah.
much fun.
Um, so diving right into it,
Yeah,
let's at the core of it, epilepsy. What is epilepsy?
sure. So epilepsy is probably not, or at least what most of the population experiences is probably not what you've seen on TV.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of popular media depicts it as grand mal seizures where you're, convulsing, the foaming at the mouth thing. So just there's a lot of misconception out there of what epilepsy is. So epilepsy obviously is a condition of the brain, and basically it's just um, a, s- there's types of epilepsy and also types of seizure disorders, which are epilepsy. So, a seizure is a disruption of the electrical communication between neurons. So, your neurons are misfiring in your brain, which causes different symptoms, which can be seizures, different types of epilepsy syndromes, things like that. So, um, essentially, if you can have epilepsy for any reason. It's not just genetic. So you can develop epilepsy at any point in your lifetime. In fact, 1 in 26 people will develop epilepsy or have a seizure in their lifetime in the US. So essentially, epilepsy, if a person has had at least two seizures, it's basically considered a medical condition, something that they deal with. Even if they've been seizure free for an extended period of time, they still
Mm-hmm.
are living with epilepsy because at any given point, they could potentially have a seizure again.
Okay.
And so, kind of breaking it down further, I mean, there are different types of epilepsy and there are different types of seizures if you want me to jump into that. I am not a medical professional. I want to
No,
say
no,
that
no.
first. But this is just what I've learned. Um, and so essentially, epilepsy is basically the same thing as seizure disorders. There are just different types of epilepsy and thereby other types of seizure disorders. So it's very complicated. There's also, because the human brain is so complex, there's still a lot more work that has to be done.
Okay.
There's actually only about 25 treatments in the market for people with seizures. And that has been greatly advanced by our work at the Epilepsy Foundation and the research dollars that we put in to supporting all of the different treatments and different trials that are out there. Um, but basically, epilepsy can be triggered by a variety of things. It can happen to anybody. And there are so many different types that it's very hard to nail down a one size fits all treatment.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the times, people who have epilepsy or seizure disorders, they might not be able to drive for obvious reasons based
Yeah.
on state regulations. It's for their safety and the safety of others.
Right.
They also may have it where they can't work, where they can't go out and kind of do normal things as you would in a day. They're actually the daughter or the sister of our chief development officer. She has like over 20 seizures a day, and she's
Oh
been
wow.
having them since she was a kid. So she wears a helmet all day. She, obviously is living with their parents. Thankfully, they have the resources that they can support her. But for many people with epilepsy, it is something that is recurring,
Mm-hmm.
something that they have to continuously manage, and that they have a lot of trouble managing because it is so difficult to pinpoint. And a lot of
Right.
that too has to do with, the lack of treatment. Maybe they don't have access to an epileptologist, which is what we always recommend, somebody who specializes in treating epilepsy, not just your normal, neurosurgeon, because there's so many different brain disorders. So it's
Right.
good when you can get to a specialist to help you treat that. And so we do have resources so you can find an epilepsy learning health center, or a specific epileptologist close to you. But there isn't a lot out there either. So
Right.
we have to overcome a lot of different challenges serving our epilepsy community because it is a smaller segment of the population,
Mm-hmm.
but the population that is affected is really affected. It's
Yeah.
there's not like a cure for epilepsy
Right.
necessarily. What could work for one person will not work for another. That's just how it goes.
If
So,
taking that statement, if I look at your guy, the Discord for Stream for Epilepsy, I see people saying, "Well, I had a seizure here," but then there's some people
yeah,
who are saying, "I haven't had one in like 10 years," So I get
right.
what you're saying 100%. Um,
And at any time too, the person that hasn't had the seizure for a long time, they could be triggered randomly and have it. There's really no, it's cured more or less. There's nothing, no relief like that for anybody. You can try to continue with the drugs, but some of the times the drug therapy does not work. It stops working after a certain period of time randomly.
Um,
So there's just a lot that we have to do, and we're working on to continue to support that and support our community. So
I,
that was probably not the best
no,
this
it was
story.
informative,
So
so that was good.
epilepsy.com, it has so much information. It's not the best website. I'm the first to admit it. We're working on changing it. But it has a lot of information about the epilepsy types and the different seizure disorders.
Okay, and but to the point of the medication regimen too, like my only experience really with like somebody who's full blown diagnosed, like actually seeing them outside of gaming, in their personal life was Gamer Babe, and she
Mhm.
was the same way. The medication just she could not nail down a
No.
a medication regimen that either didn't have unintended side effects or just didn't help, even slow down the amount of seizures she was having. So I get what you're saying
Right.
on that aspect. So yeah, it is a little scary because my daughter, with everything that she's going through, they've had her at one point. They had her on magnesium for like they're
Mhm.
trying all this stuff, and she was so allergic to the magnesium she actually started developing her sores all over her body because she's just
Oh
that
my
allergic to
God.
magnesium. So I get what you're saying by the regimen could just be, it's a constant battle trying to find the right management for it, and there may not be one because they're
Really?
still
Yes.
juggling her medication now. She's changed her medication in the last 3 months, I think 6 times now, just from
Wow.
side effects that she's had from it.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's pretty common.
yeah, so
Mhm.
it's a little scary to see, and to your point about people not driving, like you said, God forbid they get behind the wheel, they have a seizure.
Right.
Not, I know this is going to sound bad, but best case scenario, they're the only ones that get hurt. Worst case scenario, more people get hurt. And I know how bad that sounds, but in the fear for, I know at least with gamers, she's always said the same thing as well. Is it's not me I'm worried about. It's what could
Yes.
happen to everybody around me. God forbid something happen.
Right.
So
And because of, a lot of people, the brain is not something that we fully understand just in general. So I think a lot of people when they think of, a brain disorder or a seizure, you don't really have much information to rely on because there isn't a lot of accurate information out there about it just in kind of the mainstream
right,
until you've encountered it firsthand. So there
that was
are,
that was me.
people think, you should put something in their mouth. No, like you should just lay them on their side, make sure they're safe,
Hmm.
and stay there until their seizure's over. Typically, even we have our seizure first aid, which is kind of the introduction so that you know what to do when there
Right.
is a seizure and you get to learn the basics of it. It's like a 30-minute online course that we have. But I
Hmm.
recommend it to everybody that I know because just when you're the only person and you're the only one who knows how to help somebody with a seizure, that knows not to put something in their mouth, that knows that you don't necessarily have to call 911 unless the seizure lasts after a certain period of time. Um, just knowing that information and being able to help somebody can help save a life because you have
Oh
no
yeah.
idea if when you encounter a situation like that and you don't know what to do, it can cause chaos, it can hurt the individual, you
Hmm.
might make them choke if you think that they also cannot choke on their tongue. It's not physiologically possible.
I'll be
So
honest.
that's another misconception.
I'm glad that I actually did do the first aid training because I actually had to take the time and make sure I paid extra close. Because when I went to what was it, the first section where it asked a few questions, I got them all wrong. So I was like,
Yeah.
we're gonna be paying extra
The
close
thing
attention.
is you're not alone though. Like I even got some wrong too, right? Like thankfully for me, I've learned about epilepsy because I work here and I
Hmm.
work with people in my community. Otherwise, my guess was as good as yours. I've
Yeah.
never encountered it or had to be that involved with it. Thankfully, no one in my life has epilepsy or seizure disorders. I've never known somebody to have a seizure.
Okay.
So unfortunately, though, that means I'm not prepared.
Yeah.
So that's where their seizure first aid comes in. And, it's our goal to have as many people trained in seizure first aid as possible because
Hmm.
it's an easy way to gain access, learn about epilepsy quickly, and also just know what to do. God forbid somebody you love has a seizure where they're, in harm's way. So
Right.
it's a really quick thing that they can do by visiting epilepsy.com.
Yeah, and it actually was a little surprising to see how many workplaces alone don't have seizure
Yes.
preparedness. After I did the first aid, I told you my wife said that she hired somebody that she hadn't played with who has epilepsy, and she actually,
Oh, okay.
the poor girl had, I think in one day, 5 seizures, and nobody knew what to do for her. So my wife said, "Well, look, I can get us access to seizure first aid training," because I was like, "I have the link, and here you go, share it, at least get your management team, and caught up to speed,
Oh,
maybe not the
important.
rest of your employees." And the company was like, "Well, it's not really a priority because it's just one person, and she has been dealing with, it was weird to hear that kind of
Wow.
mentality for it." Um, so, but then I started kind of asking around a little bit because this was when I was working at the time. Um, my company didn't even have something like that, and which was a little shocking as well because they're a company of electricians. God forbid you touch the wrong thing that triggers something, because we're talking about electrical, signals going off in your head. God forbid you touch the wrong piece of wire and trigger something
Right.
that way. But for me,
So true.
learning all this stuff has been actually a lot of fun more than anything, because I didn't know any of this stuff. I knew what I saw on TV and in movies. I didn't understand what epilepsy was. I figured if you had a seizure, that meant you had I thought that was the same thing. Um, the choking on the tongue thing, like that was something I was like, okay, yeah, you definitely want
Yep.
to watch for this stuff. Um,
So true. Yeah, it just shows and that's why it's so important that we are doing Stream for Epilepsy, right? And that we're
right.
in this space because it's just another huge audience that we've probably not really been in touch with,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, because it's a younger audience. Um, and because, generally you don't really know until you've encountered something, like you don't really want to dig into it. So it's a really easy way to just kind of spread the awareness about what epilepsy is. And to be honest too, we're still figuring out everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is we're a relatively new organization. We started in 1968. We're only focused more or less on the US.
Mm-hmm.
We have partners, obviously internationally, that we work with. But it's such a huge disorder and affects so many people that we can't do it alone. So that's why it's so important and I appreciate you bringing us on here today and being a part of it because it's so important that we raise more awareness.
There was an email that they sent. Where did it go? It's funny that you mentioned the amount of people. What was it? 550 people a day
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, that was sent today. Yeah,
Oh, was that sent today? Because it was just
I
sent
think
out a
so.
couple days ago as well. I saw it was like 550 people a
Maybe it was
day,
like
or
different
being.
times. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that was shocking to me. So that was one of the reasons why I wanted to do this, because like I was sitting there thinking, what do I want to do for this first episode or for this first podcast? And I'm sitting there reading, I was like, well, here it is. Like this is like, how many different ways can we talk about this and help? And so my next question: what is the focus? Like, you've talked a little bit about what the focus is, or what the plans are, or what the goals are for the Epilepsy Foundation. But is there more to it? Is there other avenues that they try to help?
Sure.
Because I see a lot of the streamers, they post up the same flyer. If when you donate every $50 all the way up to, what is it, 25,000 goes towards each. There's it. I might have my numbers wrong.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. We kind of try to equate a dollar amount with
like
something tangible
yeah.
that can happen. Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, ultimately, more broadly, that all kind of feeds into, education, advocacy, and research.
Mhm.
Those are our main tenets of what we do at the Epilepsy Foundation. A lot of that revolves around access. So, making sure not only do we have resources that our community can access, but make sure that other resources or things that people can engage in are accessible to our community. Because again, our community may have more deficits or things that they have to overcome,
Mhm.
whether it's making sure that you can have somebody to take you to a doctor's appointment. Maybe you've have so many seizures that you maybe have different learning disabilities, what have you. So access is really important, which we can facilitate via advocacy.
Mhm.
So advocating for with our local governments, with our national government, whatever we can do to ensure that our community is at the forefront of legislation, at the forefront of different bills, like we've been really working hard to make seizure first aid a part of schools, and that has involved statewide legislation.
Hmm.
So we've been doing a lot of effort on a local level to ensure that all nurses and personnel in a school know seizure first aid, the quick stay safe side.
Right.
Um, the other pieces of accessibility, of course, is research. So ensuring that we're able to support more treatments. Like I mentioned, there are only about 25 effective treatments on the market for epilepsy,
Okay.
which is crazy, considering all the different other treatments out there for different disorders, different,
Hmm.
cancer, what have you.
Yeah.
The fact that there's only 25 is alarming. So we work really hard to fund, the best research out there. And so we have like our Shark Tank competition where we have a panel of experts that evaluates, just as it is on the TV show, these proposals for research or different devices or different ways that we can support our community. And then we pick the best research out there or the best proposal and we fund it.
Okay.
Um, we also have some other investments that we make now. We're savvy with the assets that we have and the money that we are supported with donations. We invested into certain research kind of more independently of that Shark Tank program and other things where we're able to make a difference.
Okay.
And we've actually helped fund, I think recently it was at least 7 of those treatments we helped fund and bring them to market with the generosity of our donors. So that just proves that out of the 25 available, we made a huge impact because we were
Hmm.
supported by our donors to be able to support our community.
Right.
And then obviously the last piece, education. So we do a lot with education. Seizure first aid is our big, big piece because it's an easy way to just learn about epilepsy and know what to do if someone has a seizure.
Hmm.
We have a lot of other local programs where we have different seizure first aid support, seizure support groups.
Hmm.
We are also launching like an app where you're going to be able to you can track your seizures, and it can I think, what is the name of it called? We're actually going to be doing a stream about this in October. So maybe I'll have to have you share about it with our chief medical officer, and she's going to talk about our new app
Okay.
that we're bringing out. So, more broadly, those are the three things that we try to focus on. Something cool that we really want to do too is, the pandemic has brought upon a culture of needing to be online, needing to make sure that people can gain access from home safely.
Right.
And so we've really taken it seriously to make sure everything that we offer can be offered digitally.
Okay.
And it also just makes sense for our community because, again, a lot of them can't drive or get to where they need to be.
Right. Um, so, if somebody wanted to get involved with the Epilepsy Foundation, is there one specific way, or are there multiple ways that they can help or get involved? Like, say they
Yeah.
wanted to work directly with the Epilepsy Foundation. Is it, just for example, just throwing something out there. Obviously
Yeah.
they're streaming for epilepsy, since we're going to talk about
Hmm.
that. Um, Obviously, maybe doing their own fundraiser, because if they go to the Stream for Epilepsy page, they can create a Facebook fundraiser and everything.
Yep.
Um, so, are there other ways that they can help out or
Absolutely.
participate? If I could speak.
Yeah. And yeah, no, you're good. It's the end of the day. I'm feeling it too. Um, Yes. So it's not just fundraising. Obviously, every dollar counts, but we
Mhm.
know that everybody has different capacity, or maybe they just want to focus on one area. So, in all of the areas I previously mentioned, education, advocacy, research, we have opportunities where people can get more involved. So, for instance, with advocacy, we have our Teen Speak Up group and also our different kind of advocacy alert line. And so, Teen Speak Up is for a certain range of individuals, obviously teens, where they can help advocate to our government, their local congressmen, their senators, what have you, for seizure first aid in schools or kind of different objectives that are currently on the docket in their local governments.
Mhm.
So there's a great opportunity there to obviously learn about, like the Schoolhouse Rock, how a bill becomes a law,
Mhm.
stuff like that, where you can get more involved and really affect change from a top-down level.
Right.
And also, you can also organize more grassroots and get more involved. So we have really great, robust advocacy program. So that's all on our website as well. Education-wise, obviously, just doing seizure first aid, that counts. I mean, that's volunteering your time so that you can help spread awareness and spread the word.
Mhm.
So that is really important. We also have a variety of other different groups, such as our kids crew. So it's for children if maybe they have epilepsy or they want to support, their friend that has epilepsy or their family member they can join, and they basically just activate different activities each month and beyond
Hmm.
to help support and raise awareness for the community. We also have general volunteers, also called ambassadors. They're not necessarily streaming related, they're just people that want to help in any way possible, and they help more broadly for the Epilepsy Foundation on all of our programs.
Hmm.
As you've seen in our Discord, I asked for volunteers for people to beta test our app. So we're always looking for people that can help test our technology.
Okay.
And then, more localized, we have programs and we call for volunteers for our specific programs like Stream for Epilepsy, like you as an ambassador or other people that can help support. So definitely not just only fundraising. There are a slew of ways and opportunities to get more involved outside of fundraising. And you also can join in on any events. So we have a lot of different events, not just online. We have Walk 10 Epilepsy events, which is our signature event series.
Right.
We have our upcoming convention in May, our first ever convention. So there's a lot of different ways to kind of gather and organize to help support the community.
Okay. That's awesome. Yeah, I try
I
to
feel like
get
I'm rambling. I'm sorry.
No. This is all.
It's
This is
okay.
everything I wanted to hear. So
Yeah,
yeah.
we're doing a lot right now. The pandemic was good because it helped really sharpen our focus,
Hmm.
and take a step back, get rid of the excess, and focus in on our goal, which is ultimately to serve our epilepsy community
Right.
and how we could best do that. So there's a lot going on, but it's all tremendous amount of progress. So I'm very proud to work here. I've worked for a variety of different nonprofits, and I haven't always felt 100% that I'm proud to work there, but there's never been a time where I haven't been proud to work here, which says a lot.
And for me, just to be an ambassador for the Stream for Epilepsy, I've met since meeting Gamer and then getting more involved along the way. You know, like I said, my daughter, obviously, my wife's employee. I actually got the chance to meet her.
Yeah.
Kauai, I brought her into the Discord not too long ago. She
Yes.
actually has
Super
family.
active. Love it.
Um, she actually has family, so that has um, been dealing with epilepsy, and I didn't know that until I really started getting involved. And I've known her for well over a year now, and it just
Wow.
finally came to light. Um, People in my own Discord, they've messaged me and said, "Oh, hey, I see that you're doing stuff for epilepsy. My so and so has epilepsy or seizure symptom. You know, maybe it's not necessarily epilepsy, but they're like, oh, you know, it's really cool that you're doing that." So the amount of people that actually have stepped up along the way since I've started learning about this and said, "I know a little bit about what you're talking about," is actually caught me by surprise. I never really thought about how bad it was because you know, it's like I said, I was one of those people who had the misconception. It's like what you see in the movies or on
Just like
TV.
me. Yep.
You know, if they have a seizure, it's very stereotyped as to they got to be flopping around and twitching all the time, which not the case. Um, that was the scariest part. The first time I realized that my daughter was actually having a seizure, and that was actually thanks to Gamer because she had taught me a little bit about what absent seizure was, and I was
Absent
actually
seizures.
able to catch that.
Yeah.
Um, so,
Yeah,
yeah,
you're so right. I think too, you've clearly created a space where people feel comfortable
mhm.
because there is such a negative stereotype with epilepsy and seizures. People, you just don't know how they're going to react.
And that's the one thing I try
Unfortunately,
to tell everybody is don't be afraid to say you don't know because
right.
I didn't know. So,
I kind of equate it to like lung cancer. Because there's always a misconception. If someone says that they have lung cancer,
mhm.
people are going to ask if you smoked. And you
That's
don't have
that's
to
a good
smoke
point.
to get lung cancer.
That's a really good point actually.
So there is a misconception with epilepsy too, people just assume the worst or assume it's like you become a freak, if you will, which is
Right.
so not the case. It happens to so many more people, and it doesn't happen in the way that people think. And it's not necessarily associated with anything negative. It's something that happens that people have to deal with, like lung cancer, because I've known too many people with lung cancer that never smoked a day in their life.
Mhm.
So there's just so many misconceptions when it comes to health. So I applaud you for creating a space where people feel like they can share that because that's not always something that, it's kind of like mental health. People
It,
don't always share
yeah,
about
exactly.
something like that.
Um, no, and that's really like the biggest point, and it's one thing that I try to tell everybody when I do these streams. Yes, obviously, I would love everybody to donate. Not even going to try and lie and say I wouldn't, but
Of course,
the
yeah.
The biggest thing that I always try to preach is just raising awareness. Because with awareness, then if somebody really, if it strikes a nerve in somebody's heart in a good way, then they're more likely to want to help out. And but for
So true.
so that's the message I try to send anyway.
Yeah,
Um,
I couldn't have said it better. Yeah, that awareness is key. Awareness helps, leads all avenues of awareness help. So whether that's you donated, you just tweeted something, retweeted, joined in a conversation,
and it's the
all of
same
it
message
helps.
that a bunch of us have kind of been preaching as far as just streaming in general. Support is support. Doesn't matter
Yes.
where it comes from. It doesn't
Yep.
matter. Doesn't mean that we have to be in every single stream. Doesn't mean we have to like every tweet. Support is support, and that's the important thing at the end of it all.
I agree.
Um, so moving forward now to a little bit more focused area,
Mhm.
Stream for Epilepsy.
Yeah.
What is Stream for Epilepsy for those that don't know?
Yeah. So Stream for Epilepsy, if any of you've heard of like Extra Life for Kids or um, St. Jude St. Jude's program, I forget what it's called, of course. Like
St.
Stand Up to Cancer has one.
Jude is
Game
the
On
cancer
to End
for kids, right?
Oobless. Yeah, or Saint. It's called
Oh, my brain
St. Jude
spaced.
Play Live.
Yes. Okay.
The like the 1,000 Dreams Fund. So basically, it's just a way for content creators, more or less streamers, gamers, to come together, host charity streams, raise awareness, and be able to promote the Epilepsy Foundation's mission to the community at large, and be able to just also, like we said, support, raise awareness for epilepsy in general.
Yeah.
So it's just a way for people to sign up. You register for free, and you can get your own kind of personal page that you can link to your Twitch, your YouTube. Some of the sites we use, I think, are working on functionality with like D Live and some other platforms.
Mhm.
Uh, excuse me. And so it's a way for you to kind of connect the content creation piece and what you do on your streaming platform to a cause,
Right.
and be able to, mark your cause with different milestones, different fundraising goals, and really just become a part of this community that's working to make a difference for
Mhm.
the Epilepsy Foundation.
Um, Now you said anybody can get involved with this for anybody that's listening.
Anybody.
Okay. Um,
Yes.
is there an application process? Like, what do they got to do? Do they just message? Like, how do they get in touch with you? If they say it's just somebody comes across this later on, how would they get in touch with you or anybody to like get involved with that?
Absolutely. Yes. So you can head to streamforepilepsy.com.
Okay.
You can also shoot an email to stream@efa.org. And we can help you get set up if you're interested in getting registered. It's pretty straightforward. I think you've registered on our platforms. It's only a couple of steps, your
Yep.
basic information. And then linking it to your stream is also pretty easy. It's
It was, yeah.
pretty intuitive. Good. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
If you have that feedback, you can also say that. It's okay.
No, when
Um,
Gamer told me about it, because she actually had me sign up before I actually got into the Discord or
yeah.
even started really doing it. I had kind of had my page sitting there for a little while before I actually started doing anything with it. Um, but it was actually really was is put some personal information in like any account that you would make for anything really. It's
Easy.
the same stuff.
Yeah. It's more or
Um,
less what you do when you like register on Twitch, essentially.
yeah.
It doesn't take much.
Um, so future projects, we'll get to the conference because that's something that I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Um, from now until the end of the year, though, is there
Mhm.
anything that people should know that's coming up? Any events, anything special like that? I know
Yes.
November is Epilepsy Awareness Month, correct?
Yes, it
Yes.
is.
I've been
Thank
doing
you.
my
Yeah,
homework. So.
that's the big one. Yeah, that is the big kahuna. Essentially, yes, November is National Epilepsy Awareness Month. So it's our big push for the organization, end of year, to, reach our awareness goals, having a certain number of people hit seizure first aid, which, by the way, is supported by the CDC.
Mhm.
So we do a lot in conjunction, obviously for public health sake, obviously to reach donation goals, just to get the support that we need to continue to run as an organization and continue to support our community. So November is a huge month. We have a lot going on just in general for the Epilepsy Foundation. For Stream for Epilepsy in particular, it's our Game Over Epilepsy meme event. So essentially, I'm like calling it the baby Lollapalooza. of charity streaming, because we're going to try to have different charity streams and different content out there as much as possible throughout the entire month. So not just charity specific, but also game nights, talking about epilepsy topics. I mentioned before about our new app that we're coming out with, Eden, which finally I remembered the name of it, Eden.
Okay.
And just a bunch of different topics so that we can really break down epilepsy, more or less the basics, answer questions, raise awareness, and then of course support, with the generosity of our donors. So it'll be really exciting. We're still putting a lot of it together. I'm toying with the idea of like a kickoff or some sort of fun stream to kick things off for the week or the month. But yeah, we have a lot going on for through that for the rest of the year. And then December is kind of a lull. But then we pick things back up in spring. We have our huge walk series, our nationwide walk event. That raises about 1 million in spring. So it's a
Wow.
huge push for us and our supporting our community. So we'll be focused a lot on that. We'll have at least one more stream event
Mhm.
trickled in there. Probably International Epilepsy Awareness Day. We've done that before. That's in February. And then I know you want to talk about this, our convention, Epicon. So
God,
that's May
I personally
13th
have
through
like 9
15th.
million questions about that. So,
No, we have to talk more. Just a sidebar for anybody listening. Our Discord community has been very helpful, because I basically come to them asking them what we would need to make sure we pull this off so that I'm not forgetting any pieces
Mhm.
to set this up, because we want it to be fun. We basically, one piece of this convention is going to be Stream for Epilepsy focused and our community gaming streaming. So we want to be able to pull it off and have it be a really fun time and a successful time, for the people that come.
Okay. Um, what sparked the whole Epicon thing? Like, how did you guys come up
Sure.
with that? So that's a big curiosity because the idea,
Yeah.
I'll be honest, for me at first, when I thought of a convention to talk about people having seizures,
Mm. Doesn't
seemed a
seem fun.
little seemed a little bit morbid at first,
Yep. Yep.
So,
I totally get that. I think of the big thing that we've noticed with our community is that they just really appreciate an opportunity to get together.
okay.
Um, and Epicon, in light of the pandemic and a lot of just the changes that have happened and, attending events in person and also financially for the Epilepsy Foundation and what we want to focus on,
Mhm.
we kind of opted for an event where we could all bring so many people together. And if you are a top fundraiser, by the way, if you reach a certain level, you get to go for free. So a way to not only thank, our very dedicated supporters and bring them together for this really fun, engaging, 2-day event, but also just bring people together where they can learn more about epilepsy, learn more about what's coming in epilepsy treatment, meet people that have encountered similar issues to them, meet different doctors, meet different, we're gonna have like a whole convention hall essentially of people and vendors and things that they can meet and discuss with, and hopefully that'll help them in their epilepsy journey. So a lot of the details are on lock. I can't share too much, but what I do know and what I am more in charge of is kind of the stream for epilepsy piece. And so that is kind of just as you would imagine it if it's like a gaming streaming room where all of
As
these
I
people
say, you
are
kind of
playing
pitched it as a
games, doing
room. Yeah.
tournaments,
Basically, what we
you
already
know,
do, just as a giant
tabletop.
group in the same room.
Exactly. Just
Yeah.
coming together and having fun. And I think the live action of actually being around these people that you only see behind your screen
Mhm.
is going to be a lot of fun. And I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah, so it's a way to bring the community together
Mhm.
at one large event, where we can really thank our supporters and our community, and also hopefully bring the resources and support they need with us, so that we can help them while we're there too.
Okay.
So it's just kind of a one-stop shop, if you will, and also a way to just kind of celebrate and have a good time. Like we're gonna have entertainment. We'll have our different ambassadors there. Like one of our board members is Camila Coelho. So we've also worked with, I mean, a variety of other celebrities, if you will, in the past. Like I don't know if Mr. Peterman from Seinfeld.
Mhm.
He is on our board for the Epilepsy Foundation.
Oh
So
wow. Okay.
bringing in people like that too, where you can meet these people that maybe are seem out of your reach, but also are suffering with epilepsy or have dealt with a loved one with epilepsy. So it's really a way to just kind of bring everything that we have to offer to one place for our community.
Okay. Um,
But more details to come very soon. I think they're
yes.
announcing more in end of the year, maybe November. November's kind of a busy month for us, so it might be beginning of the year, more of the details.
Okay. Um, Now, as far as the convention goes, is that open?
Mhm.
That's going to be open to the public, or is it going to be kind of like
Yes.
a broadcast thing? Because we keep talking about with the pandemic, not everybody can always get around and everything. I know that's the Stream
Yes.
for Epilepsy side, but is there going to be a way for maybe they don't want to just see the Stream for Epilepsy side? Is that something you can talk
So
about?
yes, I don't know all of the details yet because I
Okay.
think they're still trying to figure it out where it could work for all of the different spaces and everything involved. So yes, that is a huge component of it. Obviously, being more accessible is very important to us. So we're working on the logistics of that to see what we can do to make it more accessible from home.
Okay. Um, Shifting back to the Stream for Epilepsy, getting more into the
Yeah.
streamers. Is it now? I know you mentioned Twitch and YouTube. Are
Mhm.
there? Do we have streamers on other platforms?
Yes.
Because, and the reason I want to bring that up with everything that's going on with Twitch right
The
now,
Twitch.
there's been a
Yes.
lot of negativity going on there, and a lot of people
Yeah.
have been heading for the hills. I've
Hmm.
got friends that are going to YouTube, to Trovo, to Glimish. I actually went over to Facebook. I've actually steered away from Twitch for the moment,
Hmm.
not because of the negativity that was going on, for my own personal reasons, but is the Epilepsy Foundation, are you guys, or Stream for Epilepsy, looking to branch out in those areas as well?
Yes. So I've created a D Live.
Mm-hmm.
One of our ambassadors is on D Live.
Okay.
Klemesh has been on our radar. I need to get formal approval to get us out there.
Okay.
Facebook streaming, there isn't really like a specific account I can create, more
Mm-hmm.
or less. As you know, you're on there. So
Yeah, it's a little tricky
um,
to navigate
it's
that.
more, yeah, it's more like through your kind of personal
You got to do a
page, what have
page, but
you.
tied to your personal account. Yeah, that gets a little
Yes.
weird. So,
Yeah, it's a little hairy. So, and then we did just start like a gilded. So, we're open to all different platforms. And it's just the thing is that when I say we, I mean me. So I'm the one who creates all of those pages. But yeah, we're looking to continue to branch out, and at least D Live we got kind of put on there because of the ambassador we have who really mainly just streams on D Live, and we want to be able to show our support there too. So we're going to continue to work hard to get it on as many platforms as possible, and also just hoping that Twitch is able to address a lot of these very valid concerns and issues that have been happening on their platform. Because obviously it's an important platform for many people. People rely on it for, their income. So it's definitely something we hope they, can make some changes on. Because I don't enjoy seeing it either. I was just on a stream with one of our ambassadors, just saying hello, and I saw the hose hate
he's, and it's
bots
always
coming in.
so many different versions of that account. It's
Yep.
it's like, okay,
So it was not fun to see.
now for the Stream for Epilepsy Discord, if people want to get invited, is that open to everybody, or do they have to have some sort of relationship with epilepsy? And I use
They
that.
don't necessarily have to have a relationship with epilepsy. If they email us at stream@efa.org, and kind of say why they want to join. The only reason why I have to monitor it is because we have had people join who then just post a series of flashing gifs, or things that could trigger our photosensitive community and
Okay, I
cause
didn't
a
think about
seizure.
that. Yeah. Okay.
So same, our Gilded has an application. They need to tell me why. So, and then I approve it. If their reason makes sense or if they put any effort into their response.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so it's just a matter of reaching out and then we can give you access when you're ready. But we have quite a big community. We have over
I think in Discord.
150 people.
That's what I was looking at. It seems to be getting bigger. There's people, it seems like almost daily, that are joining the
Yeah.
Discord now.
Yeah, we have like about 150. So it's awesome because we just started it um, last August. Wow. I didn't realize how many there were.
Yeah, there's about 150
It's
or so.
crazy.
I just scrolled through there real fast just to get a rough
Yeah.
number.
It's like I wish they had like a number.
Yeah.
Discord, are you listening? They just have a number up there.
Um,
Yeah.
I think that covers just about everything. My next goal that I
Cool.
want to do for to help kind of promote this, and I had this idea as it gets to closer to Epilepsy Awareness Month was
Yes.
hopefully I was going to do it this time, but then when you volunteered, I was like, ooh, this gives me a different idea. But I wanted to get some of the streamers involved and actually talk about their
Yeah.
work that they do, why they do it, tell a little bit of their stories as a kind of help promote, bring a little bit more attention to Stream for Epilepsy directly. So that's hopefully my
I
next
love
plan
that.
sometime in October.
Yeah,
Trying to
let me
work on that.
know what if you need anything from me to identify. I have a couple people in mind. I think that'd be great.
Okay, yeah, definitely. If you can shoot me, and I'll reach out to them.
Mhm.
And um, for the first one, it wasn't bad. Nobody had any questions. I was kind of hoping somebody would, but no big deal.
Oh, that's okay. It's the first one.
Yeah. So I appreciate you doing this with me.
Of
We're
course.
trying to keep them under an hour for the most part, if we can.
Yes.
So,
That's a good bite of info. That good podcast length.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you doing this, and
Mhm.
maybe if it gets a little bit closer to another event, we can do one to kind of help promote it as well. If you'd be okay with that.
Absolutely. Anytime. Thank you for thinking of me. And I just want to say again, thank you for all that you do.
I appreciate it.
Obviously you're not alone, but just know that the work that you do does not go unnoticed. I see it. And we really appreciate it. I mean, I can't believe how big Stream for Epilepsy has gotten already,
Mhm.
even though it's still pretty small. It's incredible what we've been able to do, what we've been able to raise, and you've been such a big part of that. And I know that you've had to overcome a lot of different obstacles and challenges along the way. And so thank you for always keeping us a priority. I really appreciate that.
I try to. I may not be the most active person or vocal person, but I am there. I do actually, pop into
Yeah,
Discord and at least
you
take a
show
look
up.
to see what's going on. So,
You show up, and I appreciate that. The consistency is I like that. Obviously, everybody participates in their own way,
yeah.
right? And that's every way is valuable. But I
Mhm.
just know that I see what you do and all the great things that you've done for this community, and we really appreciate it. So hopefully y'all subscribe.
I
Make
appreciate
sure you
that.
get updates for this.
Um,
And where is your podcast going to be now?
so I gotta finish redoing it because I don't want to use I used to use Anchor before to get it
Okay.
out to like Spotify. So I gotta set up a new account. But basically, if it still uses the same, it's at the very least going to be on Spotify,
Sweet.
Google Play Podcasts, iTunes as well are the big three. There were some other smaller ones that I was unfamiliar with, but it was still getting out there, so I was happy with it.
Oh yeah.
Then hopefully that should be up by Wednesday, just because
Sweet.
I've been dragging my butt a little bit, so give
Oh,
myself
you're
a little
okay.
wiggle room to get everything done.
This is a big lift. I've always said I think people really underestimate what goes into a podcast. So kudos to you
I appreciate
for
that.
putting this together. And wish you the best of luck with it. If you need any more help, let me know. But again, I appreciate all that you do and being on here. And maybe next time I'm on, I'll have more information and
No,
more
it was good.
things to share about epilepsy that I'm more certain about. But
Okay.
again, I am not a medical professional. I just want to make that
No,
clear.
you're good. I do actually have some questions. I'm going to message you later on today.
Cool.
Probably not right
Yeah.
after this, but so I do have some things I want to ask you about too. So, but I'll
That sounds
save that
great.
for offline. So,
Yeah, and then I'll add you to our schedule too for your
perfect.
upcoming charity stream. So
Okay.
thank you everybody for having me again. Stream at efa.org, streamforepilepsy.com. That's where you can get more information about what we're doing stream wise. Epilepsy.com is where you can go for everything about the Epilepsy Foundation of America.
Awesome. Thank you, Monique. I appreciate it. And I will
Thank you.
touch base with you in a little bit.
Sounds good.
All right. Bye.
All right, bye.
All right. All right, everybody. So I just want to say thank you for being here for this first episode. I know it probably wasn't the most professional looking, but I want to, guys, leave your feedback in the comments. If you have anything that could be done to boost the quality of this, that could up the professionalism, because I want this to be a more professional endeavor. I want this to be something that we can take along the ways. It's not just going to be about charity events or the Epilepsy Foundation. I want to bring up streaming topics, gaming topics, a fun variety of things. Look at the next list of games that are coming out. Streaming events. Next week I want to be talking about just basic streaming etiquette things, because right now with all the drama that goes on in the streaming world, that's where we're going to be heading next. I want to start off and just talk about some stream etiquette. So that's what I'm going to be doing then. And I am always taking volunteers. I am always anybody who wants to step in and help with any of these podcasts. It is literally open to everybody because I want to be there to help everybody, to support everybody. So that's why I did this one. this is something that is near and dear to my heart for a variety of reasons. The biggest reason at the top of the list is, my daughter possibly having epilepsy. Bust out a suit and tie. I can definitely do that. So that was the big reason for that. And so thank you guys for being here for this first episode. Please, I want all feedback, constructive. It doesn't have to be positive feedback. So in the comment section, find me on Discord. I don't care where it is. I'm going to post a link for this video on Twitter. Hopefully my links and everything will be a little bit more up to speed. It's been a rough week. So I will see you guys next time, and I'm going to sign off here. Thank you.